Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited for today's video. It is the best makeup of 2017. Before we roll in, I want to make clear that this video is not to say these are the die-hard only thing you should buy video. This is not you should like these things. This also isn't you have to buy these things right away. I know people are curious as to what my favorites are, and I found throughout the year from applying and repurchasing that these products have been by far my most favorite ones. And I'll also like to mention, just because these are announced as my favorites doesn't mean that I have other products that I love as well. It was very difficult to narrow it down to one product that I consider my favorite because I have a lot of favorites, but of course it's the question, but if you could only have one. And I would love for it to be a discussion. Let me know down below at the end of the video or throughout what your favorites are for each category. I'm afraid that I don't have a drugstore option for each product. If you would suggest one down below when I am mentioning a higher end product, I would love to hear those options. I am coming with a best 2017 hair products. I think I'll film that after this one. If not, I'm sure to get that up before the new year. And with all that aside, let's get started. I got my list here, I got my notes to make sure nothing gets left out. I'll go in the order in on how I apply products, and with that, the first product I apply is primer. And the best primer 2017 is the Touch in Sol No Pore Problem Primer. I've been using this since the summertime, and you see that it's almost nearly done. This product made the list because as a primer, it is super lightweight. It blurs your pores and creates a smooth canvas for makeup to work on. No matter what foundation you apply on this, the skin looks smooth, buttery, and it helps achieve that smooth texture with any foundation you choose to apply thereafter. And I have it on now. Again, all my favorites are now on my face today. I thought fitting for this video. I just love how it makes my skin smooth, especially here. I have a ton of pores here. I would say that it aids in controlling oil, but again, it's not going to suck the living life out of your skin. It's not going to dehydrate it. It'll provide just enough blurring effect, and I would recommend that you put on your favorite moisturizer under this because this is not moisturizing. It does have silicone, and if you have very dry skin, I would advise you prep the skin well before going in with no pore problem, just because its sole task is to blur out pores and to create that smooth canvas. If you want a little more moisture, I would go in again with your perhaps another primer that provides more hydration, or go in with your favorite moisturizer before you apply this. Next up, we have foundation. I dissected this category into two sub ones because I have a favorite tinted moisturizer and a favorite foundation. My favorite tinted moisturizer for 2017 is the Erborian BB Cream Korean formula. I found myself reaching for this several times simply because ease of use, and it has everything in one. You have your moisture, your sunscreen, your pore blurring effects, and it leaves a nice velvet texture to the skin. It's not overly drying, and if you have oily skin, it'll just help. Those micro powders in here will just help absorb the excess oil, and you won't break out greasy throughout the day. I think of a very elegant formula, and it's great when you're short on time. If you don't have the long morning to apply this serum, that moisturizer, and that sunscreen, you have it all in here. It's SPF 20. If you prefer a higher SPF, I would suggest perhaps going in with a higher SPF lotion, moisturizer before you apply this. Go in after, and you're good to go. I think it has pretty good coverage for a tinted moisturizer. The only con I would say about Erborian is that they definitely should have a wider shade range. I'm not sure if they launched a limited one, in that trying to see who is buying it and who would like to purchase it again. But I think this is such a beautiful tinted moisturizer, and I feel it has more coverage than your typical one. I feel I go in with concealer anyway to my under eye area, as well as some blemishes I might have around the face. For the most part though, I think this is a dynamite multitasker, again, that targets hydration, SPF, pore blurring, refining your texture, and controlling oil, all in one product. And now this leads us to announce our 2017 foundation favorite. There she is! This is my second stick, okay? I love this foundation. First of all, ease of use is a stick. You draw it on. You don't need an additional brush to apply the product onto your face. I find that this undertone is perfect for my skin. Lots of times I have to combine foundations because they're either too warm or too yellow, and I have to find that perfect middle ground. This by itself is good. It's a little light for my summer skin. I usually will have to use my Nars Velvet Matte Foundation Stick, and I'll combine it with this. It will always find itself in the mix in some way or another. It has a satin finish, smooth and buttery texture, it blends well, and I think this finds itself in several favorite lists simply because of the high coverage it provides while leaving your skin looking natural. It doesn't look caked on, it doesn't look textured, it won't cling on to dry patches, and I also find for combination oily skin types, it's not going to kick up your oil or make you look greasy throughout the day. I find if you powder very well, set the T-zone area with your favorite powder, you'll be good to go. And I think they have a fantastic shade range as well. Sure, they could use a little more those in-between colors I think that are hard to target, to pinpoint. For the most part, I think this is a beautiful formula. Again, the texture of it, the high coverage, your skin looks like skin despite the high coverage. It blends seamlessly, effortlessly. You can use a beauty sponge, your favorite kabuki foundation brush to buff it out. And again, just the coverage on this is outstanding. Definitely will be rebuying until something else better comes along and takes her place. She's on top for now. Concealer was tough. It was a tough one to decide. The reason, okay. And I brought her. I use Shape Tape a lot. The reason why Shape Tape didn't win my first place spot was because I think Nars is a little more elegant in the formulation in that it doesn't hit you with so much coverage at once. And I know it's the beauty blogger trend to get that high coverage under your eyes, like high coverage, full beat. I get it. This looks amazing on camera. In real life though, it could be a little much. And I find that the medium coverage from Nars provides the right amount to just blur out the skin underneath, cancel out any darkness you might have under the eyes. And might I mention, the shade range has increased and they have a lot more in between shade ranges. You have your golden, your peach, your yellow, your neutral. And I find it very helpful when using under the eye concealer because you might have to use two, one that's peachier in tone to target the dark circles, but maybe one that's more golden or yellow in tone to add that brightness under the eye. I feel they have that shade range to achieve that task. And again, I think it's just a lighter formula, and I just find because of ease of use, the elegant formula, the skincare benefits, and the fact that it's not going to pound you with so much coverage on the first application, you have a little more control, is why it won the first spot. Powder. Now, you know from my previous MAC and Patrick Star video that I was raving about the Patrick's powder, but to earn a spot in the 2017 favorite list, I gotta be using you for more than a couple of weeks, you know what I mean? And with that said, good old Laura takes the trophy. This is my second jar of powder. It's all reliable. It's smooth, it's finely milled, it has a nice tint to it that adds brightness. It doesn't look cakey or powdery on the skin. I apply this with my beauty sponge with it damp, and the way it blends to the under eye area and how it sets concealer I think is immaculate. I primarily use this under my eyes and anywhere I need extra setting. For instance, my smile lines, the sides of my nose, the creases in my forehead. I will keep using this. I think it's phenomenal for baking. Again, it doesn't leave me chalky, powdery. Sorry, my My parents are watching the basketball game. They're getting a little excited. And I think this will remain a staple in a lot of people's makeup bags because, again, it's going to give you what you need. It's going to set your makeup well. I mentioned I only primarily use it for my T-zone area under the eyes, but I will also use this all over my face to set my makeup. And it will set it without looking cakey, powdery texture. It's gonna still look smooth, melt into the skin, and give you really lovely results. You're wondering what then I use on the rest of my face. Giorgio Armani's Luminous Silk Foundation Compact in number 7. This is my second compact, even though it's a powder foundation, and I think it didn't get great reviews because of the foundation label. People were expecting more coverage from it. For me, because I applied over my cream foundation and today the Vanish stick, I find that it provides just a little bit more coverage to kind of fine-tune your skin to make it seamless and tackle any spots that need a little more coverage without looking cakey or just packing on far too much product. It gives just the right amount of coverage. Again, the shade is perfect for me. It's in the neutral range of things. It's not going to change my foundation shade at all. It pretty much melts into the shade and works with it. And once you apply that setting spray, and I don't have a filter on, friends, I am in front of my window. This is the combination of Vanish stick and this. I love it. I will continue using this compact. Please let me know down below if you have a drugstore option for this. I still yet have to try the Maybelline Fit Me pressed powder. It was just hard to decipher from the store which shade would be best for me. I think I'm going to just buy one and see if it works. And I'm sorry if you're frustrated that all these picks so far have been high-end. Like, I get it. And again, I wanted to open the forum for you guys to suggest any alternatives that are inexpensive for the ones that I'm presenting. By all means, I would love to hear about them. Up next, what do we have? Bronzer. Oh, this one was a tough one. I love bronzer. I love using different bronzers, and the fact that I had to choose one was very difficult. But I managed to narrow it down to good old Makeup Forever Profusion Bronzer in the shade. It's not even on here. It rubbed off. I believe this is 30M. I will put the correct shade next to me if not correct. It's a gelée type of formula, and because of that, I feel that it's foolproof to use. Synthetic brush, natural hair brush, no matter what brush you use, it's going to give you a beautiful natural finish on the skin. And again, this undertone I find was perfect. It's a real true brown bronzer. Not too red, not too yellow, not too orangey. I'm sorry, the light is changing. Hello, excuse me. Because it's not a powder, you could layer this on as much as you like and not mess it up. You could just build up to the intensity you desire. It's not gonna look cakey or texture, because I know sometimes if I don't set my face well, there's like this patch of powder that sticks to certain parts of my skin and it drives me nuts. I find with this that's a very low risk of that happening. And again, Makeup Forever creates really beautiful makeup, and I love their Profusion. I've been using it for a while now. Off the top of my head, I love Becca's Sunlit bronzer, and I also love Elsie's bronzing powder as well. This for me is just a beautiful formula, and again, the undertone is perfect for my skin tone, my skin color. Let me know down below if you use this product, and again, any drugstore inexpensive alternatives, I would love to hear about them. Next up, we have blush. And I know Marc is under a lot of fire right now with that heinous ad campaign he launched. I've been using this blush all year. All freaking year. The pan that has these two colors just creates the perfect flush of pink and light pink, or peach or light peach, whatever the compact you have. I just think is a foolproof formula, and again, you're not going to pick up a ton of product. It's just going to deposit the right amount to give you that flush of color that looks natural. And I believe he has like maybe 5 or 6 shades. If from the top of my head I could choose a more inexpensive powder, it would be the ColourPop blush singles. I think they are a great inexpensive alternative. They're easy to use. Yeah, they don't have the two colors like the Marc does, and they're not in a compact. Well, they are in a single compact. It won't have a mirror in there. This is way expensive. I get it if it's out of your budget. This has been my favorite blush to use all year. If, again, you want to check out the ColourPop blush, I think that's a great alternative to the Marc Jacobs. I'm not going to go into his nonsense because I'm just, come on. In terms of just favorite makeup right now, I love his blush for the blush category. Highlighters. You know, this was going to win again. I feel Becca is in a lot of people's favorites simply because the formula is divine. The smooth powder, the amount of glow it provides without it looking metallic. And I mentioned in my previous videos, I think when I was doing the Colored Rain shadow palettes, that I'm not a fan of that crazy intense metallic glow. I know it shows very impressive on Instagram photographs, YouTube videos. In real life though, I feel it looks textured on my skin. It's apparent that I'm wearing highlighter, and when I want to wear highlighter, I want it to kind of enhance that glow from within look that I'm trying to achieve on my own. I just apply this to kind of help it along and to give it that push. Again, the smoothness of these powders is outstanding, and just how they blend into your skin. You can use them with any brush, synthetic, natural, small tapered, fan brush, and they will provide beautiful results, gorgeous results. I love this formula, and I know they were recently acquired by L'Oreal. I don't know how that will affect the formulation, what have you. We'll keep an eye out for that, and if you feel very strongly about that, I suggest you stock up quick and get as many highlighters as you can right now that are in their current formula, if it will ever change. I want to get their different prismatic colors in like golden mint and rose quartz. I think they look gorgeous, and I just, oh, I love this highlighter. And the fact that I can buff this out without it disappearing completely, and it will leave me with a highlight glow despite the fact that I brushed over it, is a huge crucial point, an achievement for me. Because sometimes when I do that with a lot of my highlighters, it just kind of goes away, and I'm like, no, I want you to stay on my skin but just kind of blend in a little better. And the fact that this leaves behind a beautiful lit from within glow puts it on top. I will continue using Becca. I have a lot of highlighters from Becca, and I think I'm good in the supply department. I still want to get, again, those prismatic highlighters because I think they're beautiful and a very unique shade. We'll definitely pick those up. Just pure mica, pearl, and whatever else they put in there. It's very personal preference. Again, you kind of have to try and see what works on your skin texture, and will leave you with the best looking natural glow. And I think that will determine what your favorite is. For me, my skin texture and the finish I look to achieve, Becca wins for sure. Eyeshadow. My favorite, I think, because I'm only doing one category, because there can be favorite metallics, favorite foils, favorite mattes. Hands down, across the board, Colored Rain wins. I have their shadow singles. I have, as you see here, the Queen of Hearts palette, their mini palettes. I'm still on the fence about getting Cheers to the Beauty. I think because I saw Tara Babies review it and her swatches were like, kind of compels me to buy it now, because I just love Colored Rain, and I know a lot of their 2-3 shades in their Cheers to the Beauty are very metallic and have a lot of fallout because they're like pressed glitter pigments. I don't care. I love their eyeshadow, and their mattes are my favorite mattes out of all the ones that I own. The way they blend, and they're just buttery and they still look pigmented. I have Colored Rain now on my eyes, and without a doubt, I keep reaching for their shadows, and I am never disappointed with the color payoff, the pigmentation, the blendability, ease of use, and they stay on all day. I have this shadow on for over 8 hours, and the saturation is present, still looks blended, it doesn't fade, it stays on my lids all day, and I am always blown away with the quality and the performance of Colored Rain eyeshadows. Let me know what your favorite eyeshadows are. And listen, I know I purchased the Pat McGrath eyeshadow lacquer boxes. Those I love too. The reason why they didn't make the #1 spot was because they're super expensive. They're not travel friendly. They're definitely stay-at-home eyeshadow palettes. And they just are, they're an experience, and I feel they're not going to be everyone's favorite if you don't love makeup. I feel this is, Colored Rain is a lot more accessible in terms of price tag and also just ease of use, right? Because they're not going to hit you with crazy glittery shimmery shadows. Those are really for people who love makeup and know how to deal with makeup. And I feel for those who are just looking for a nice everyday look to achieve that, the products they wish to use are not going to have a learning curve to them, probably will gravitate to a brand like Colored Rain or a drugstore brand or what have you. That's why this won the #1 spot. I'm looking at you, Pat. I love your shadow palettes. But just as I explained, there are reasons why she didn't make #1. Colored Rain is my #1. Moving on to, well, actually, I do have a subcategory to share with you. My favorite glittery, like, eyeshadow topper, again, is not Pat McGrath. I find because of this inexpensive price tag and just the, again, it's easy to use, these Super Shock shadows provide a beautiful high shine glitter effect without having to use glitter glue. I apply this on top of one of my Colored Rain eyeshadows, and just so you can see, it just adds a nice pop of glitter. I use my finger and I'm done. It comes in, this Super Shock formula comes in an array of shades. They recently launched this sick teal shade that I'm like almost wanting to buy, and I feel like I missed their sale, so now I feel like I have to wait for another sale because they're always having a sale. If you love something from ColourPop and you're like, wait until they have a sale, because they will, like, every couple of days. They do have their Supernova shadows, but because those have to dry, I feel that the Super Shock formula is just easier to use because it's already dry. It is cream to powder, but once you apply this to your lids, it sets. It doesn't need any time to dry, to whatever. It's just gonna give you what you need right away. Easy, done. Favorite liquid liner goes to Kat Von D's Tattoo Liner. I recently just bought one. It's still in the box. It's on standby. I love the felt tip. It's easy to use. And for me and my level of hand steadiness, which is not a lot, I find I just have an easier time drawing out my wing with the felt tip pen. And a lot of felt tip pens have like this spongy texture to them. I feel over time they leave like bits of the spongy tip on my lids when I'm drawing, and this I thought was a much smoother tip. It doesn't turn textured or spongy. It's a pen, like a very smooth pen, and gives me a really nice sharp wing. It's super black. It's waterproof. I forgot. Hiccups. The claims if it's 24 hours or 12 hours staying power, but you know, long enough for I could do 12 hours. Like, I don't need a liner to be staying on me for 24 hours. If that ever occurs, and yeah, it's good that I can rely on this to stay on my lids for that long, but just for my average 8 to 12 hour day, and this liner is gonna look black, saturated, not gray, not fade, I'm always reaching for this one, for sure. Gel liners, this was a tough one, and I hate to include Marc Jacobs in this category. I'm gonna have him as a runner-up and choose Jouer for best cream liner. I love this formula to apply to my waterline, top and bottom. Although I typically don't like to line my waterline, I just apply shadow and mascara. If I do have to apply to my top lash waterline, this is a extremely creamy matte formula. My black one's in my makeup bag, the one that I have to take every day. It's super creamy and matte, and days. It's like a little sticky, and it ensures that it's going to stay on my lash line without fading. Very creamy, easy to apply, very pigmented in whatever color it comes in. The black is really, really black, and she also has the shades, and I believe this is plum, matte plum. She has a brown. You could also apply this to your top lash line and blend it out if you like to make a creamy eyeliner wing. The only reason I have Marc as a runner-up is because this shade right here in Whirlpool is the best matte turquoise I have ever used. I mean, look at that saturation. It is like matte turquoise and creamy, easy to apply. When this goes on my lower lash line, it's over. It is over. I didn't have any runner-ups so far in this video. Jouer wins my #1 spot for cream eyeliners. Marc Jacobs is the first runner-up, just because of the shade range and the colors. Those punchy, intense colors. An inexpensive option will be ColourPop. The only reason why, I mean, they're a $5 pencil, but I've had a lot of them break on me. The pencil part just comes out of the mechanical part, and I always have to push it back in. It could get a little frustrating, and again, I understand the price tag is not going to keep together, I guess, as well as something that's more expensive. I don't know. But if I had to choose an inexpensive option from the top of my head, definitely the ColourPop cream gel liners are a really nice choice for the waterline and just the lash line. Ooh, brow pencil. This one was easy. This was easy. I think this might be my 5th pencil. I'm not even kidding. I used to use Anastasia's the Brow Wiz, the really thin one. That Brow Wiz will always break on me. The spoolie side will always break on me, and that was the side that was most important, because once you apply your pencil, you use the spoolie side to brush it out so it could look hair-like and natural. I always had to reach for a separate spoolie brush and carry one with me because the one on the pencil broke. And then when I discovered Benefit, I first used the Precisely My Brow because it takes on a similar size to the Brow Wiz from Anastasia. Very, very thin. Creates those natural hair-like strokes that are easy to draw on, and also those holes that you might have in your brows that you don't want a ton of pigmentation, just a little bit, it will achieve that. And again, the spoolie side on these pencils do not break. I think they're just better designed and built. They're more secure. You can bend it if you like, if you rather have it, and it's not going to dislodge in any way. It will stay intact. And then I started using the Goof Proof, and before I had a hard time because it comes in this angled design. It's going to lay down a lot more product than the Precisely My Brow, and I think for me it was tough because I wasn't used to this size pencil, but once I got the hang of it, I can't use anything else. I use just this one today. Sometimes if I want a more natural looking brow, I'll go with my Precisely because the smaller strokes, it's not gonna lay down as thick of a line as this one does. But you know, I love, who are you kidding? I love a bold brow, and this achieves it so quickly. I don't use powders, I don't use pomades. I'm not really good at those products, to be quite honest. I achieve my best brows with pencils. I'm good with that. Sure, I might play with pomades and powders just to play with them and learn, but for the most part, every day in and out the door, these win the trophy. I also forgot to mention in my concealer category, because it is still Nars, the Soft Matte Pot. I use this every day to cut my brows. Because of its creamier formula, I think it's easier to maneuver around the brow, under and over, because since it's not as liquidy, you have to be careful with it spreading too high or else it'll get in the brow and not stay under the brow, which I find can be very frustrating. I mean, I'm almost done with this pot. Like, it's nearly almost done, and I love using this to prep my lids. I don't use like a primer, so to speak. I just, from cutting the brow, I blend this down to my lash line, set it with powder, go in with eyeshadow, and it's heaven. Heaven. We're almost there, friends. Almost. This is a long video. Woo. Best mascara 2017 for me is a Too Faced Better Than Sex. The reason why I say for me, because this is not, even though it says waterproof, I love you Too Faced, but this is not actually waterproof. It still transfers on me. And like, why is it on your list then, Alicia? Well, the way it keeps my curl all day. A lot of the mascaras that I use, that I tried, are very, I feel, heavy, and they don't keep the curl, they don't lift my lashes, and the shape stays all day. And I find ever since getting rid of my lash extensions, I'm satisfied with these for sure. I miss my extensions and how they made my lashes look lush, full, and just putting on my grande lash every day to kind of help them grow and fill those holes in. And I love how kind of, not chunky is not the right word. It gets a little dry and just a touch goopy, and it gives a really nice black, lush, voluminous effect. This is a new tube I just cracked into today, and it was a little too wet for me, but in a couple of days it's going to be that perfect consistency. It's going to keep the curl. I'll also have to mention my favorite mascara category, the MAC Extended Play. I apply this to my bottom lashes because this will not transfer. It will not drop down to my skin. The Too Faced does. If I put this on my bottom lashes and I don't bake my under eyes, forget it. You'll just see those black spots and I'm like, ugh. So I'm afraid I have to put these two both in my favorite mascara because I use these two together each and every day and every time. Face at the top, MAC on the bottom. I find that's the perfect combo to achieve that waterproof curl all day, no budge look lash. My favorite eyelash curler of 2017 and all years before is my Shiseido eyelash curler. I find that this is the perfect design for my eye shape. I consider myself to be like in the almond, I don't know, round category. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not really good at categorizing my own eyeballs. I did try the Shu Uemura, but I thought, because my friend Dottie, who is a makeup artist, while I was using Shu Uemura at the time, she suggested that I try this, and I was like, oh, and I have to hold these up against other eyelash colors to fully understand the difference in angle and what those differences yield. Is a huge say in how they fit to your lid, to your lashes, how they curl them. I find that this is a great curler. Shiseido definitely will be rebuying or at least replacing the rubber lining so it doesn't get worn out and it keeps curling my lashes well every time. Liquid lip. I'm just doing liquid lip simply because that's what I wear every day. And yes, there are cream categories, there are matte categories, but because of what I wear every day, I decided to just stick with the liquid lip. You guys are gonna be so mad at me. No, it's not Pat. I'm sorry. The Dior Bruges Liquid Lip. I was really surprised when I tried this. It doesn't dry down completely, which I kind of like. I don't like that super dry down feel that a lot of liquid lips I think give me. This is a very beautiful moussey texture. It still feels moist on the lips but dries down matte. And I am in love with this color. It comes in Jungle Matte and it's just the perfect pinky, like taupey nude for me. I don't know what it is. I love this shade. I'll combine it with other liquid lips that I have, but this is like my perfect pinky nude for my skin tone. I have also a favorite lip gloss. Bare Minerals Gen Nude Lip Gloss. Hydrating, plump, smooth, creamy. It does not leave my lips feeling dry. Another one I was thinking about was the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb. I actually like that one a lot because of its moisture content. It doesn't, when it dries, it doesn't leave my lips feeling parched and cracked where I feel like some glosses do. The reason this is in my top, because I love this shade, Tantalize. It's a beautiful taupey nude gloss shade. And I think it pairs beautifully with Jungle Matte from the Dior Rouge Liquid Lip. I love this combination. Let's apply a little more just to see. I love this color. I'm a fan. If I go glossy, I usually reach for this. But again, I rotate with a lot of different lip glosses because I want to try different colors, different combinations, different finishes, and all that stuff. And I think that's why this list was hard to do, because I have so many favorites, but I had to hanker down and just choose one for each category. Last but not least, when all our makeup is on, what do? Setting will always be my number one, my repurchase, my go-to. I love the Morphe setting spray because, you know, this you gotta press, and the other one you just gotta shh. I don't know, the mist on this just gives me a little more product, and I feel that my makeup melts better because of it. Listen, I'm not mad about the Morphe. I applied Morphe today because I'm like running so low on this that I'm in the danger zone and I definitely have to repurchase another bottle. I just love the, like, I want to feel the setting spray on my face. I want to feel it on my face. And I feel like the Morphe setting spray is so light and misty. It's like, I want it. Like, give it to me. Give me the setting spray. And MAC does that for me. I love the fragrance. It's very light. It's hydrating. The way it melts the powders into my skin is just gorgeous. I also use it to wet my shadows on the brush when going in with foiled metallic formulas to give it that punch and that shine. Definitely my favorite. Will always be my favorite. My go-to. Tomorrow I'm going to MAC. I'm probably going to get two because when I run low on this, it's the spritz gets a little like, it kind of spits at you when it becomes low, and that's why I always have one on standby, because I'll just refill it so it's high on top with liquid and not going to spit on me, you know what I mean? And I think that's it, friends. I think we hit all categories, or all the major important ones. I'm happy I did this video. I did not do one last year because I think I was trying a lot of makeup and I didn't have a great handle on what my favorites are. I was, again, rotating a lot, trying this, trying that, and I had to ask myself, listen, what is a product you use every day and will repurchase, recommend to friends and family and what have you? And these are the products. But you know, to say that I repurchased some of these, I feel speaks volumes on what I think of them and what they have done to my makeup game, and I highly recommend them. Let me know what your favorites are for 2017 down below. Let me know any inexpensive alternatives for the products mentioned in this list. And I will come at you soon with a 2017 hair favorite products video. Just, you know, again, I got a lot. You can't pick 5 conditioners, Alicia. Just one. Thank you, friends, so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another review, tutorial, demo, or chit chat. Have a wonderful and safe new year. Thank you for joining me and for your support throughout this year. Can't wait for the next. See you then. Bye.